Have you ever found yourself wondering how decisions are made at St. Paul's? It's a simple enough question, but the answer is complex. Like most Episcopal churches, we have a clergy person and vestry that are responsible for the day in and day out decisions, from the mundane, like deciding how the electric bill is paid, to the complex, like the service schedule on Holy Week or large construction projects. But it is also important to understand that the leadership of St. Paul's does not make its decisions in a vacuum. As part of a national church, we are beholden to church leadership on both a national and regional or diocesan level, the governing documents of the national church, our diocese, and our parish, as well as federal and state laws as they apply to religious organizations and non-profit entities. This video is a brief overview of the leadership structure of the church and how it affects and interacts with the leadership at St. Paul's. St. Paul's is part of the Episcopal Church, or more formally, the Protestant Episcopal Church in the United States. The Episcopal Church consists of roughly 1.8 million members in over 6,400 parishes spread across 111 dioceses, over 90% of which are in the United States. The national church is governed by the General Convention. The General Convention consists of two bodies, the House of Bishops and the House of Deputies. The House of Bishops is composed of all active and retired bishops. The House of Deputies is composed of 4 clergy and 4 laypersons elected from each diocese. The General Convention meets every 3 years and is responsible for setting rules of governance and policy for the national church. The Convention also nominates and elects the presiding bishop, who serves as the chief pastor of the national church and presides over the House of Bishops. The term of the presiding bishop is 9 years. Since the General Convention meets only once every 3 years, an executive council, the members of which are elected by the General Convention and the provinces, oversees the work of the national church during the interim, and the House of Bishops meets annually. Rules of governance for the national church are set forth in the Constitution and Canons. While much of this document deals with national church governance, it does spell out many rules important to individual parishes, such as having a vestry as the legal governing body of a parish, defining the responsibility and authority of rectors or priests in charge, mandating the use of the Book of Common Prayer for worship, defining requirements to become a member of the church, defining acceptable business practices to be used by parishes, and setting forth the requirements for a couple to be married in the church. This document can be found on the Episcopal Church website, and there is a link to the document below. The Episcopal Church is also a member of the Worldwide Anglican Communion, but the Communion functions as a family of churches of similar faith traditions that choose to collaborate together, rather than a religious authority that the Episcopal Church is beholden to. On a regional level, the church is divided into provinces. Provinces are comprised of several dioceses in a large geographical area. The purpose of a province is to encourage collaboration between dioceses and elect members to the National Executive Council. On a more local level, parishes belong to a diocese, a group of parishes in a particular geographic region, usually a state or a portion of a state. St. Paul's is a member of the Diocese of Atlanta. The Diocese of Atlanta covers most of middle and northern Georgia and has 117 parishes and over 50,000 members. The diocese is governed by a diocesan council, bishop, officers, a standing committee, and an executive board. The diocesan council meets annually and is composed of representatives elected from each parish in the diocese, including St. Paul's. Much like the General Convention does for the national church, the diocesan council is responsible for setting rules of governance and policy for the diocese. The bishop of the diocese serves as its chief pastor and is elected by the diocesan council. The bishop also has wide latitude in making policy decisions that affect all parishes in their diocese. The officers of the diocese are likewise elected by the council. The standing committee serves as a council of advice to the bishop and consists of 3 clergy and 3 laity elected by the council. The executive board oversees the work of the diocese when the council is not in session, and consists of one clergy and one layperson elected by each convocation in the diocese. A convocation is a smaller subdivision of a diocese. Its purpose is to encourage collaboration among parishes on a more local level and to elect representatives to the executive board of the diocese. Each convocation is led by a clergy person selected from that convocation and given the title of Dean of the Convocation. St. Paul's is a member of the Southwest Atlanta Convocation. Rules of governance on the diocesan level are set forth in the Diocesan Constitution and Canons. Like the national documents, much of this document concerns governance at the diocesan level, but again there are many rules spelled out that affect individual parishes. These include the process for conducting parish meetings, qualifications and election of vestry members, size and responsibilities of the vestry, selection and responsibilities of church wardens, and further clarification of the role of a rector or priest in charge. This document is available on the Diocese of Atlanta's website, and there is a link to it below. At a parish level, each parish is governed by a vestry and a senior clergy person. The roles of each are clearly defined by church law. The vestry serves as a board of directors for the church and is responsible for overseeing the use of its secular assets, in other words, the use and care of its facilities and revenues. In addition, at St. Paul's, each vestry member serves as a liaison to multiple ministries, acting as a contact point for ministry heads to ask questions, raise concerns, and discuss new ideas. St. Paul's vestry consists of 9 parishioners elected to 3-year terms at the annual meeting, with 3 being elected each year. Any confirmed communicant over 16 years of age and who makes and fulfills a financial pledge to the church in the preceding year is eligible to participate in and vote at the annual meeting, and nominate candidates to stand for election to the vestry. Vestry candidates must be confirmed communicants over 18 years of age who make and fulfill a financial pledge to the church and regularly attend the church. The officers of the vestry consist of 2 wardens. The senior warden is appointed from among the vestry members by our senior clergy, and the junior warden is elected by the vestry. The senior warden serves in a similar role as a president on a board of directors. The junior warden at St. Paul's is primarily responsible for overseeing the proper maintenance of the church buildings, facilities, and grounds. The church treasurer and vestry clerk are also members of the vestry, though they are not voting members. The primary role of the senior clergy, which can be a rector or priest in charge, is their responsibility for worship, music, education, and the spiritual welfare of the congregation. Senior clergy also have control over the use of parish facilities, have sole jurisdiction over parish staffing, and oversee parish administration. When a rector retires from a parish, the bishop appoints an interim rector to serve the church while a search process is conducted for a new rector. The governing documents for a parish typically consist of bylaws and a policy manual. Bylaws are legal documents used by parishes to provide rules for local church governance. Such rules typically include procedures for holding parish meetings and elections, vestry meetings and elections, and selecting delegates for the diocesan council. A policy manual provides guidance on a wide range of topics, from building and facility use to financial policies. As a confirmed communicant in the church, your participation in church life and leadership is vital to our success as a parish. The leadership of St. Paul's values parishioner input and feedback and welcomes questions, concerns, and suggestions. If you wish to contact a vestry member, our contact information is available on the church website. Please reach out to one of us for communications, or if you or someone you know is in need. We hope this video has helped you to understand how our church leadership structure works and how it influences our decision-making process at St. Paul's. Thanks for watching.